If you're an artist and you're not creating daily, you're missing out on a practice that will build your motivation, your creativity, and production of work tremendously. The problem that most artists have is getting started drawing or painting and continuing the practice for the rest of their life. How many of us have picked it up and then put it down for way too long? Art is hard, and in order to get good fast, we need to keep doing it all the time. And in this video, I'm going to give you some practical tips for getting started and continuing for the rest of your life easily. Doing art daily is huge for me. I've built my entire life around my art and doing something every single day. I live art every day, and it has changed my life for the best, and I hope to change your creative life for the best as well. I've been doing art now every single day for over 3,500 days. It's almost 10 years now. Through that time, I've completed a bunch of paintings, a massive amount of drawings, and I've filled my recycle bin with bad art time and time again. Needless to say, I've learned a lot about how to do art daily and how to keep doing it for a very long time. So my first tip I'm going to call "You are what you do." Your identity is wrapped into what you do. I can't call myself a plumber if I don't plumb every day, but I can call myself an artist because I do it every day. Your identity is what you do daily. If you are an accountant, you most likely do it daily. If you're a tidy person, then you probably keep your home tidy. You are what you repeatedly do. Here is an awesome quote from James Clear and his wonderful book, Atomic Habits. Please buy the book, it's amazing. Quote, "The more you repeat a behavior, the more you reinforce the identity associated with that behavior." In fact, the word identity was originally derived from the Latin word incentitas, which means being, and identitum, which means repeatedly. Your identity is literally your repeated beingness, end quote. Isn't that awesome? Identity is your repeated beingness. My identity is art. It is my repeated beingness. So how do you want to identify yourself? And it's easy to change your identity to whatever you want just by doing. The reason why I made such a huge commitment to doing art every day for the rest of my life is because I wanted to be an artist. I wanted artist to be my identity. But I knew that if I was going to make that kind of commitment and stick to it, I couldn't complete a big painting every day, and I couldn't spend 4 hours a day in art for an extended period of time. I would burn out. I knew that. I needed to plan for those days when I didn't have enough time. Which brings me to tip number 2, which is plan for the worst. A good example is traveling. We have all had days when you had to get up at 2 in the morning, catch one of those red-eye flights, and then fly all day, then have to go to sleep whenever you get there because you're so freaking tired. I mean, you don't have much time, and oh my gosh, you don't have enough energy to do your artwork, right? Or those days when you're sick. Maybe you have the flu or COVID-19, or you're in the hospital. Your health isn't allowing you to work. Those are the really hard days. And then what we face most often, we're perfectly healthy, we're not sick, we got all the time, but we just don't feel like it. But whatever it is, come up with what your worst day looks like. Maybe you've had a really bad day in the past. Maybe you can imagine a really bad day in the future. When I started my daily art journey, I didn't know I would need a kidney transplant, but I had planned for some really bad days before, so I was able to continue my practice even through that crazy ordeal. Let me tell you, it's not fun. But how do we overcome all these worst days? You make your art practice easy by setting a minimum. And I've talked about this a time and time again. It's going to be tip number 3 right now. And we're going to talk about BJ Fogg and his book, Tiny Habits, which is awesome. So he uses an amazing model to help individuals manage their motivation and their ability to move forward with any task, regardless of the state that they're in. Here's the diagram. I know it looks complicated, but basically, if your motivation is high, your health is good, and you have enough time, then you're going to be able to complete hours of art no problem. But if your motivation is low, your health sucks, or you don't have much time, you can't expect to complete a lot of art. Here is why I set a minimum. This is a minimum that I must reach every single day to hit my daily art goal. It's simple. I do at least 30 minutes of art every single day. I set this minimum because I believe I can achieve this for the rest of my life, regardless of what obstacles I face on any given day. I've already prepared for those worst days. So what's your minimum? I would suggest keeping it based on time. So 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever works for your life and your challenges. You may think that only 30 minutes a day is not going to amount to anything, but then you would be incorrect on this. I'm sorry. But it compounds over time. You're constantly working on your art and your art skills, and you're carving new pathways in your brain for improvement. You are always working on something, even if it's a small sketch. You're constantly showing up and doing the work and building the confidence to do it even on the hardest day. It's far more important to continually get in touch with your artistic identity daily by doing a minimum than it is to complete a work of art that is worthy of a frame. Besides, if you do art daily, it will lead to that amazing art that's going to be in frames and galleries. So set a minimum, no matter how small, and set yourself up for success every single day. If you would like some motivation on how well this works, look at my daily art archive on my website. These short sessions really compound, and you can see my skills improve over the last 10 years because I've logged every single day. Also, you can check out this video here for more on setting a minimum to build your creative motivation. But let's go on to tip number 4, which is build confidence and willpower. I want you to look at a couple of my sketches here. They're not great, but they're very important to me. The sketch on the left was done at 3 a.m. in the morning, right before I was going into surgery for a kidney transplant. And the sketch on the right was done after major surgery when I was lying in the hospital bed recovering. This is not something that you just show up and do. I planned ahead for this day and was able to overcome my worst day possible and show up with my identity as an artist. I have these sketches actually framed on my wall so I can look at them every single day, especially on the days that I don't feel like doing any art. Because if I can do my art on the day before a kidney transplant and in the hospital day afterwards, all those days when I just don't feel like it are ridiculously easy to get started. By showing up on this hard day, I've gained the confidence and willpower in myself to show up on all other days. I look back at my 10 years of daily art, and it's like a huge rush of energy pushing me forward to create, regardless of what I'm feeling. Through daily art, you can create the confidence and willpower that will push you forward as well, regardless of the obstacles in your life. There you go. That's 4 tips to help you start creating a daily practice for the rest of your life. Number 1 was you are what you do. Number 2, plan for the worst. Number 3, set a minimum. And number 4, build confidence and willpower. Keep the streak going, keep the habit going no matter what. Because through this, your willpower will grow, your skills will grow, and it will keep you in touch with your identity for the rest of your life. Be the artist that you've always wanted to become and create daily. I hope that those 4 tips were helpful. If you want more information on how to set your purpose in life, your big why, and to help push you forward even more, check out this video right here. This will help you tremendously. Thank you for watching. My purpose here is to help you become the better version of yourself. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Hit me up on my website, chrisbevan.com. I respond to everyone personally. Have a great week.